What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
What he thought of his boss was irrelevant, or rather, he didn't give a damn. Shinji was more preoccupied with Shuna's adorable appearance than with the tactless fighting at the moment. Shinji was delighted just thinking about her bowing and exiting the room. She was flawless and full of dignity. Furthermore, despite Shuna's attractive and delicate appearance, it was well known that her anger turned into a terrifying beast. Not just Shinji felt admiration for Shuna. The Shuna fan club included Mark, Shin, and the two new trainee assistants, Lucius and Raymond. By contrast, Ramiris, his employer, was. All he could do was sigh.
Hey, Shinji-chan, do you have anything to say to me?
Ramiris's intuition was really sharp during these kinds of situations.
It's nothing, no.
Hurriedly, Shinji tried to deny everything. He had moreover received several reprimands from Master Gadra, who said,
"You have to be calm and collected if you want to be a wizard. You're still far from prepared."
Given what had happened to him just now, he couldn't help but see why Master Gadra had reprimanded him. Shinji was emotional, it was true, and he lacked the necessary emotional control that was necessary for a wizard. When it came to Shin, for instance, he had no emotional expression and was not gifted with magic. He'd always heard from Gadra that it would have been preferable if it had been the other way around. However, Gadra also stated that, while Shinji could not grasp the sensation of expressionlessness, he was not deficient in magical aptitude. On the contrary, he was extremely qualified. As a result, Shinji was forced to accept his mistake.
I guess Lady Ramiris will forgive me this time if she has time to yell at me again.
Shinji pondered in his mind. To begin with, comparing Shuna with Ramiris was incorrect. Comparing an adult to a youngster was analogous to that. Or rather, the discrepancy could be attributed to deeper, more fundamental causes. Although Shuna still exuded the innocence of a young girl, her demeanor belied her maturity. Ramiris had been alive for thousands of years, yet her mental age was still young, possibly because her body was continually growing. There was no way Ramiris, childlike in both appearance and mentality, could match Shuna. However, Shinji reasoned that since Ramiris always seemed cute, it would be best to handle her more gently. That being said, Shinji's mind was now preoccupied with unimportant matters. This is what made him pay attention. This made him realize that the man who was normally so sluggish had stood up at some point. And his boss, Vesta, who was normally serious, was asleep on his desk for some reason.
What are you doing, Dino?
Actually, the fact that Shinji asked the question was really a coincidence. However, that one action turned out to be the most significant play of the day. Shinji, who had been the least diligent of the bunch, took the most credit for the day. Dino got up and tried to play the part that was given to him. Even though he detested working and was hesitant, he was unable to turn down the request from a longtime friend. He was primarily motivated by the obsessive belief that he had to complete the task. Nevertheless, something unexpected stopped him in his tracks.
What are you doing, Dino?
As soon as Dino heard Shinji's voice, he realized his plan had failed. The timing of divine intervention caused him to be distracted from his intention to complete everything swiftly so that no one would notice. Dino made a mistake, but nobody should have been able to read his behavior. Beretta had an iron grip on the hand that had stretched out to grab Ramiris. Everything transpired in a split second. If Shinji hadn't raised his voice, then nothing could have prevented him.
Sir Dino, what do you think you're doing?
To be honest, I'm shocked. I didn't anticipate being interrupted. Oh my goodness, I was expecting everyone to calm down and cease being so tense because you were around, too. Shinji, please give me a break. You have every indication of being a big shot.
Dino grumbled, but his words were sincere. He was aware that not many individuals in the world were able to see through what he was doing. Dino had been so sure of himself, but it was all a waste of time now. Dino sighed deeply and glared at Shinji. After that, he shook his head, looked back, and narrowed his eyes at Beretta. The situation had become more dire than usual, and Shinji and the others realized it. That did not, however, imply that they could simply take action. Taking Ramiris from Beretta's shoulder to shield her, Alpha and the others went to encircle Dino.
Huh? Hey.
Ramiris, who had not been able to follow the abrupt turn of events, looked from Beretta to Dino in turn, as if she were trying desperately to make sense of it all. Shinji moved away from Dino in order to take care of Vesta. But Shinji's friends, Mark, and the others, stayed where they were. Still, they appeared to have dozed off despite the circumstances. Everyone could see that this was not normal.
Hey, Dino. You were up to something, weren't you?
Shinji yelled, to which Dino idly responded.
Yeah, right. But you must also have some very good skills if you're repelling my power. You've impressed me, Shinji.
I'm not pleased with the compliment.
Dino only gave a shrug. He had given Shinji some compliments, but aside from that, he didn't even give him another glance, suggesting that he didn't really care. Rather, he was staring at Ramiris, behind Beretta's shoulder.
I apologize, Ramiris, but will you please help us? If you cooperate, I vow to take good care of you and I don't want to be harsh with you. See, we don't want to spend our blood on one another. Why don't you simply come with me then?
With a serious expression on his face, Dino said this. It goes without saying that Ramiris rejected this.
What? You're the one who's losing your head. What on earth are you doing? Rimuru will beat you up when he gets back if you keep talking like that.
Ramiris was, as usual, relying on the authority of others, yet her statements were correct. Dino could not help but chuckle bitterly.
That's right. It was what I expected you to say. However, I can't say that's sufficient right now. After all, even if I don't want to be, I am still the Watcher.
Do you mean one of the 7 primordial angels from Sir Veldanova's inner circle when you say, Watcher?
Right. Well, I was one of the primordial angels once. I was given the responsibility of keeping an eye on the surface once Feldway and the others departed for the other realm.
You have to be joking, right?
No, this is absolutely true.
Ramiris was shocked to discover this, something she had only recently become aware of. Unaware that Dino was a significant character, she was always under the impression that he was just as much a liability to the demon lords as she was. Never in his wildest dreams would Ramiris have guessed that he was named by Veldanova himself, the creator. By the way, Veldanova had also given Ramiris a name, but she had been reincarnated too many times to remember anything about it. She did not know when she would attain her complete form, but once she would remember everything.
I believed that all of the originals had departed.
No, that isn't true. As the world outside of the surface started to calm down, Sir Veldanova started looking for the security of the otherworld. You probably already know that.
What? Well, alright.
Ramiris started acting a little strangely, but Dino ignored it. Entering it would be too much trouble, and he had had enough of explaining. He therefore assumed Ramiris was aware of this and carried on with the discussion.
Feldway was tasked with that job along with 3 other originals. Me included, there were now 3 of us, and our job was to be Sir Veldanova's hands and feet.
You too?
I understand your skepticism, but I was a serious man back then. But then something unexpected happened. My transformation from a seraph to a fallen angel was caused by this, in addition to other internal factors. My colleagues are all like this, and there isn't a single decent primordial angel remaining.
But you left out the story's most important part. The one that troubles me the most.
Ramiris couldn't contain her outburst, but Dino only let out a frustrated sigh.
Silence, please. I can't explain. I'll let your mind fill in the details because it doesn't really matter to me, and then we can begin negotiating.
Everyone present at the time who was listening agreed that it was simply too ridiculous to leave something like this up to the imagination. But since Dino was known for his impatience, everyone gave up, figuring there was no point in asking for more details. In any case, they decided to pay attention to what Dino had to say.
So, regarding negotiation, what do you mean?
On behalf of the group, Ramiris posed the question.
It's precisely what I said. I guarantee I won't touch anyone in this labyrinth if Ramiris is willing to comply. There isn't another option, though. If you decline, I will be forced to kidnap you whatever the cost, even the death of everyone who stands in my way.
If you do that, there is no way I'll cooperate.
Well, you're probably correct, but it's not really an issue. The optimum result would be your obedience, but even in the worst situation, everything would be okay as long as the labyrinth is sealed.
This is what you want, huh? Who is giving you this order?
I'm not sure if I can tell you that, though.
I mean, I assumed Guy was the only one with the authority to command you.
I suppose it's something along those lines. But even that isn't exactly correct. Since Guy and I are on the same level, I see no reason to follow his directives.
Whatever, that's not important.
It's important, I assure you.
Ramiris began to ponder while ignoring Dino's rant.
If Guy isn't the one, then that's right. It's Feldway, the First Order's commander. You must have been roaming around when he returned from the other realm and approached you. You really couldn't say no to him, could you?
Like a misaligned wall clock, Ramiris's deductions were only sometimes accurate. This was one of the occasions she would make all these false assumptions and observations, then somehow use them to arrive at the right answer in the end. And she was correct once more this time.
That is truly the right answer. How amazing is that?
The operation, on which Feldway had expended most of his resources, had two primary goals and was carried out flawlessly. The first was to kill Masayuki. The other goal was to demolish the labyrinth. It would have been a difficult effort to destroy the labyrinth, and there was a chance that everything would go wrong. Feldway thought it crucial to secure Ramiris to make sure that didn't happen. Feldway created the combat strategy with the intention of removing all ambiguity, and Dino simply followed that.
You were a delinquent, which is why you broke up with Feldway, correct? The guy appears to be an excellent honor student, therefore it doesn't seem like you two would get along.
I'm not a delinquent, I promise. I just really enjoy being lazy. It's true that his orders irritated me, so I was relieved when he left.
Dino clarified that their previous relationship persisted despite their lack of communication.
I see. Does that imply that the originals are the ones attacking? It is not good. Simply disregard Feldway's instructions and join our side.
Dino beamed at Ramiris, who was uttering the most absurd things. He couldn't, however, nod in agreement.
It's too bad, but I have my own problems too.
Dino, in fact, thought it was rather weird that he was unable to defy Feldway. Dino, though, just turned down Ramiris's offer.
You appear to be taking this seriously. That shows a good deal of nerve. I will handle you personally. As one of the Octogram's pillars, I'm committed to keeping this area safe until Rimuru returns.
Ramiris showed how determined she was.
So it appears. I really don't want to work, to be honest. It would be perfect if I could live in a world where I never had to work, but that is not possible. Sadly, I can't show mercy. Make every effort to get rid of me, but don't worry, I won't take your life.
In response, Dino waved his hand and assumed his customary carefree and languid demeanor. Thus, the negotiations came to an end. Once the battle started, there was no more time for discussion.
Beretta-chan, get him.
Ramiris yelled with excitement, as though she was charged with something. Naturally, Ramiris never engaged in combat. That was exactly what Dino had anticipated, so he chose not to laugh about it and went up against Beretta to see what he could accomplish. The control room was transformed into a combat zone. Although the area was rather large, there were a lot of obstructions like chairs and desks. What Ramiris wanted was to move somewhere else since it was not a place to battle. Dino, though, thought that this was unacceptable because Ramiris's chances of escaping were very great.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Chris Guzman, Havox, Speed Saber, James Waters, Arijit Das, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rossan, Jerry Sladek, Stone Larone, Alfonso Smith, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, John M, John Charles, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Andre L. Hamilton, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L, Edgar Fuentes, JV, Dirty Old Hobo, Thomas, J, Christ, Juan Ignacio, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Vethelny, Lunel Scarlett, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Cal Robs, Divine C. Harris, Panda Cats, Aaron Alarcon, DeAndre Nance, Monty Boy 98, D-Man, Ruben, Luis Caro, Yuki Iki, Pedro Robles, Chris Jr., Isaac, Koala King 93, Little 95, Coyote de Peza, Quilly Buckner, Zephyrus, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, L, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J Rule, Sayonori, Liel Tiram, Liron Sangkap, Eric Tass, Christopher Mash, Echo Ski, Foolish Prophets, Ethan Madison, Charles Bailey, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Nick H, Andre Hamilton, Jason Torres, Sesh, Guy Ansley, Simon Road, Emperor WSA, Mika Espinosa, George Hage, Pratik Bandari, Arod Dare, Faiz Mansour, Deriha Skerte, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Tank Bailey, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Homelike Drop, Nasir, Mam Wang Min, Vasto Lord, Martin Ramos, Marl Barsha, Aditya Vyas, Hansel Ortega, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Bismarck Munoz, Arion Booker, Kamal Luke, Wei Jun, Alvin Quarty, Samuel Ward, Steven, Mose Chaudhary. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.